Most people think hippos are harmless. They see them in zoos, half submerged in water, barely moving, and they think, gentle giants. But standing here, right now, on the edge of this river in Africa, with the sun bleeding red across the horizon and the water completely still, I can tell you that thought is dead wrong. Hippos kill more people in Africa than lions do, more than leopards, more than almost any other large animal on this continent. And tonight, I am spending 24 hours near them. The moment I said that out loud, I felt my stomach drop. Because this is not a controlled environment. There are no fences, no barriers, just me, a local guide, a camera, and whatever is lurking beneath that dark, quiet water. Right now, somewhere in this river, there are multiple hippos, and they already know we are here. Walking toward the riverbank with my guide, Samuel, I honestly did not realize how terrifying hippos were until I actually got here. I had done research. I had watched footage. But nothing prepares you for standing 10 meters from a river and seeing two small, dark eyes just barely breaking the surface of the water, completely still, watching you. Samuel has lived near this river his entire life. He knows these animals better than almost anyone. And the first thing he said to me when we arrived was simple: never get too close. I laughed nervously. He did not laugh back. The scary thing about hippos is that they do not look dangerous. That is the trap. They look slow. They look calm. They look like they are just floating there, minding their own business. But hippos can cover short distances at speeds that would shock you. They do not give warnings the way other animals do. There is no growl, no circling, no dramatic build-up. One moment everything is calm. The next moment something enormous is moving toward you faster than your brain can process. Samuel pointed toward the far bank. A massive mouth broke the surface for just a second, wide open, teeth the size of my forearm, and then disappeared back under the water. That image stayed with me for the rest of the day. To understand why hippos are so genuinely dangerous, you have to understand what they actually are. A fully grown hippopotamus can weigh over 3,000 pounds. Their skin alone can be nearly 2 inches thick. They are built like armored vehicles with legs, and despite that enormous mass, they can run faster than most humans over short distances. On land, a charging hippo reaches speeds of up to 19 miles per hour. That is faster than the average person can sprint. And in water, they are even more unpredictable. There are documented cases of hippos attacking and capsizing boats, not because they were provoked in any obvious way, but because the boat entered their territory. They are intensely territorial animals, and they do not negotiate. Watching cinematic footage of a hippo charging through shallow water, I turned to Samuel and said, "That thing moved way faster than I expected." He nodded, and then he said something that stuck with me. Most people who get hurt by hippos were not doing anything wrong. They just got too close without knowing it. We were, at that moment, standing closer than I was comfortable with, and I started backing up slowly. By the time darkness settled over the river, the atmosphere had completely changed. What felt tense during the day became something else entirely at night. The sounds of the river amplified. Every splash, every movement in the reeds, every ripple on the water felt like a signal. Samuel and I moved carefully along the bank with flashlights, speaking in whispers. "This feels terrifying now," I said quietly into the camera. My breathing was audible. I was not performing that nervousness. It was completely real. Because here is what happens at night near a hippo river. The hippos come out. Hippos spend most of the day submerged in water to regulate their body temperature and protect their skin from the sun. But at night, they leave the water to feed on grass and vegetation. They can travel several miles from the river during a single night. And this is when many of the most deadly encounters between hippos and humans occur. In the dark, when a person walks too close to a feeding hippo without seeing it. Suddenly, from somewhere in the darkness ahead of us, there was a sound. A deep, resonant grunt. Then silence. Then A massive splash. I spun the camera toward the water. Samuel grabbed my arm and pulled me back. "Did you hear that?" I said, barely above a whisper. He was already moving. Nothing in any documentary fully captures what it feels like when a hippo decides it does not want you near it. We had moved slightly downriver, trying to get a better angle on a group we had spotted earlier. Samuel had assessed the distance and said we were fine. And then, without any clear warning, one of them surged. The water exploded. Samuel shouted, back up," and we were running. The camera footage from that moment is shaky and chaotic, because my hands were shaking and my only thought was moving away as fast as possible. The hippo did not fully charge onto land. It stopped at the water's edge, mouth open wide, making a sound that I can only describe as something between a roar and a bark. But the message was absolutely clear. You are too close. Leave. Standing behind a tree, catching my breath, I said into the camera, Okay, this is not safe. And I meant it. That was not a scripted reaction. That was genuine fear. Because when something that large moves that fast and that aggressively, your body responds before your brain does. Pure instinct, pure adrenaline. One of the most remarkable things I witnessed during those 24 hours happened in the early morning hours, just before sunrise. A large crocodile had been resting near the bank, partially in the water. And a hippo, a younger one not even fully grown, moved toward it. The crocodile, which had been completely still, immediately shifted and retreated into deeper water. No confrontation, no hesitation, just retreat. I never thought I would see a crocodile backing away from something, but now I completely understand why. A hippo's bite force is one of the most powerful of any land animal on the planet. Their canine teeth can grow to nearly 20 inches in length. One bite from a hippo can crush bone instantly. And crocodiles, which are apex predators in their own right, have learned through instinct and experience that engaging a hippo is not worth the risk. Hippos have been documented protecting other animals from crocodile attacks, not out of compassion, but simply because their territorial aggression extends to anything that enters their space. They are not predators, they do not hunt, but they are, without question, one of the most dangerous animals alive. As the night gave way to a quiet golden sunrise, the river looked completely different. Calm, almost peaceful. The hippos had mostly returned to the water, and the chaos of the night before felt distant. But Samuel and I sat together on the bank and talked about something that had been weighing on me throughout the entire experience. Despite how terrifying hippos are, they are also struggling. Their populations have declined significantly over the past several decades. Habitat loss, hunting, and human expansion into river territories have put enormous pressure on hippo communities across Africa. The villages near this river are not far away. Farmers lose crops to hippos feeding at night. Fishermen navigate waters where hippos are present every single day. The conflict between humans and hippos is not a story of monsters and victims. It is a story of two species trying to survive in shrinking space. The closer humans and hippos get, the more dangerous things become for both sides. And that reality is not dramatic or cinematic, it is just true. Standing at the edge of the river as the sun fully rose, I thought about what I believed before this trip. I thought hippos were lazy animals, slow, unbothered, almost comedic in the way they just sat in water all day. I was completely wrong. What I experienced over those 24 hours changed the way I think about wildlife, about danger, and about the thin line between human curiosity and genuine risk. Nature often hides its deadliest creatures behind calm appearances. The still water, the barely visible eyes, the slow, heavy movements. All of it is a disguise for something extraordinarily powerful and unpredictable. I am grateful I came here. I am more grateful I left safely. If this experience taught me anything, it is that respect, real, genuine respect, is the only appropriate response to the natural world. Subscribe to Fact Zoo TV Official for more wildlife documentaries and survival stories.